Sometimes the most powerful lessons don't come from textbooks or big speeches. They come from watching someone quietly build something where no one else thought it was possible. On a very hot day in Newark, Tobias Fox was dragging a wheelbarrow through an empty lot, just dirt, debris, and a dream. No one believed a garden could grow there, but he did. And that belief reminded me of my own journey. Because a few years ago, I walked into a local TV station that barely existed and was far from thriving. It was a place where people came to tape shows, but often those shows were never edited or aired. Hosts, guests, and volunteers became increasingly frustrated. People threatened not to return for the next season, but they did it quietly. Once I became the new station manager, several people took me aside privately and told me very candidly they would not come back unless things changed. They were tired of wasting their time, and frankly, so was the community. That's the situation I stepped into as the station manager. A station that existed, but wasn't being used efficiently and was losing the trust of the very people it was meant to serve. During my conversation with Tobias, what struck me most wasn't just what he had accomplished, but it was how he approached it. He didn't rush in to fix things. He paused, he observed, he listened to the land and the people before deciding how to build. Hearing him reflect made me realize our experiences aren't so different. Different industries, yes, but the same deeper lesson. True transformation starts with seeing what's already there and truly listening to what's needed. That's exactly what I had to do at the station. Before making any big changes, I spent time studying the workflows, the bottlenecks, and the real concerns people had expressed for years. Once I figured out what needed to change in order to make the station more efficient and allow it to thrive, the changes started showing. Shows were taped, shows were edited, and shows were aired. This meant that I personally took responsibility for editing every single show for several years. I wasn't there to bulldoze through. I was there to rebuild with care. That perspective ultimately led to one of the proudest projects of my career. During the shift to vote by mail, I realized how many people in our community, especially those who spoke languages other than English, were confused and anxious about how to vote safely and correctly. I knew we needed a way to inform and empower everyone, so I created the concept for a multilingual public service announcement series. It was my brainchild, but it wasn't something I did alone. Our community made it come alive, volunteering to record PSAs in their native languages, encouraging their neighbors to vote, and emphasizing the importance of civic participation. At the same time, we collaborated with local public officials who sat down in front of the camera and explained step by step the technical details of how to vote by mail properly. Together, the public brought the passion, the officials brought the clarity, and we as a station became the bridge connecting the two. And it was not easy. We did not have a fancy production crew. It was just me in the town hall chambers that they opened specifically for this production, as all public meetings had been relegated to Zoom. We worked with my personal production equipment for the government officials, and community members recorded on their phones. I spent late nights editing every single video, troubleshooting file types, and piecing it all together, but the effort was worth it. The PSA series ended up winning the Grand Prize Award from a professional organization in the tri-state area. This was the first and only award the station ever received in its almost 30-year existence. And more than the award itself, the impact was immediate. The station, which had been struggling for relevance, was suddenly placed back in the spotlight, locally and even nationally, as our shows were picked up via syndication from Maine all the way to California. People were talking about the station again, and they were trusting it again. That to me was the real prize, rebuilding trust, one video, one story, one connection at a time. I didn't always have the answers. In fact, many days I was just hoping I was making the right calls. But leadership, I've learned, isn't about having a perfect plan. It's about showing up, being consistent, and inviting others to rise with you. The hard days taught me that transformation is a long game and community work is never done alone. If I could go back and speak to the version of me just stepping into the station for the first time, I'd say this: the small wins matter. And when it feels like no one sees the work, do it anyway, because eventually they will. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to turn something around? Maybe you're even doing it right now. Let me know, tag me on social, or send a message on LinkedIn. Let's build a space where we can share those hard-earned wins and encourage each other through the process. I'll leave you with a quote that has stayed with me for years. Alice Walker once said, "The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any." That's why we build, even when it's hard, because we do have power and we can use it to make things better. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who may benefit from it. I'll include the link to my full conversation with Tobias Fox in the show notes. You don't want to miss it. And if you liked what you heard today, please subscribe, rate, and review Dustin's Kaleidoscope. It helps more people find the show and keeps this community growing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit subscribe. Leave a quick rating, preferably a 5-star one, and pass it along to a friend. It really helps us grow the community when you share these stories with more amazing people like you. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you next time on Dustin's Kaleidoscope. Bye.